And welcome back to Career Build Series, episode 230. And so back here in the Career Build Series. And so one thing I've been wanting to do for a while, and one thing that kind of got me away from the Career Build Series for a little while is if you start a game, you have an option to check that you want forest fires, and they never work. They never self-ignite. So I added in natural disasters, hoping that things like meteors would give me forest fires. Alas, that still didn't work. I still didn't get forest fires. So I did a live stream yesterday, and on the live stream, I created what I call Firebug or Dingaling, and it's just essentially an automated coaxial helicopter that shoots flares, and so you can ignite fires with flares. So in the career build series here, I think what we'll do is we will convert the turboprop for cap air into a firefighter. So now that that is up and running, so here is Firebug. That gives me the ability to make some fires. And so let's go ahead and we'll grab the latest and the greatest turboprop. And so I'm going to make a system in here that we can essentially use to put out fires. And so first thing we'll do is a save. So it'll be turboprop water bomber. All right, so this is going to be designed to drop water. I also have a Bambi bucket for Katie, but let's get working on this. So I think it'll be kind of fun to start building something here. And so now with that new automated drone that I can send off and start fires, that really helps me to be able to just set a fire and have it spawn a mission for me to put the fire out. So let's go ahead and we'll test all that out here. You know, I'm kind of disappointed that the fires don't spontaneously spawn. That's kind of would be nice as an option. I don't know if it's a bug or what, and I assume it's intended if it's an option. I had to swap on. I assume it was intended feature if that's one of the options, but doesn't seem so. Okay, so we've emptied this sucker out. And so you see a lot of these are retrofitted, and so you have like Grumman Tracker that has this retrofit to it, and so I'm gonna I want it to look retrofitted. So let me see if I can look at a Grumman Tracker water bomber. All right, I'm trying to see if I can see the tanks. You know, they essentially put tanks in them. So you need nozzles to put out fire. You can't just dump the water. That doesn't work. So I'm trying to see if they have any interior shots. But a lot of these, you know, all they really had was tanks they put in, and then a way to fill the tanks, and then a way to outflow. And so I kind of like that look. It makes it so that it's I don't know. It makes it look like it's a retrofit, and that's what I want. So maybe gray tanks. So, you know, I'm trying to decide if I want to be able to walk down. So if I put one in the center, I can't walk down the aisle. If I do this, I can walk down both aisles, but I have to plumb one side. You know, they definitely need to be equalized weight-wise. You know, my character can jump up on top. The other thing is I don't want it to be overly heavy, so let's check it here. So let's go start at the center of gravity, and we'll work from there. Let's do larges. And so I've actually seen some pictures of some of these, and they look like this, where it just looks like they jammed some tanks in there, because that's what they're doing. They're taking, you know, aircraft and they're retrofitting them. So this, as you can see, just for RP value, you could slide these in another door, so you could retrofit it to fit it. And so let's see. You know, I want this not to have too crazy of a capacity here. And so let's try putting them right next to each other and see how I like that. All right, so that fills it up. And so let's start piping these together. All right. And so let me see where so this is the end of my microcontrollers there. And so probably want to cut in here somewhere. Let's try right there. Is that doing anything? That's not cutting into anything I need. So that's fuel tank underneath, and then there. All right, and that will be where my nozzles are. So I'll have a nozzle array here, and that will be where the water sprays. And so I'll probably put a water bar in there to spray. So let's start joining these together. All right, and we want some cross pipes. And we have cross pipes there. And so this type of water bomber, as you can imagine, is filled at the airport, and then they go out and utilize it, and it just drops the water. Some of the cool ones that they have where you actually land, or you will skim across the top of the water in a seaplane, and it will fill them as well. So those are cool as well, but that's just not what I want to build right now. At some point, I would like to build one of those, but not right now. All right, so let's go ahead and put that there. I'm trying not to get all discombobulated here. So I'm trying to think of the best way to set this up. So let's go ahead and think of that, and then let me see what I want here. So I'm trying to decide the best way to do the piping here. So I think we'll start with two ends here. So maybe 3 nozzles. I don't want to go overkill on this, so I probably need a cross piece. So cross piece enclosed there, and then a couple across like that. That's good. Yeah, I'm just trying to see. I'll see how efficiently I can put out a fire here. And so I kind of want them streaming backwards, and so there are nozzles. So that will stream out the back, and it will put out a fire. The other thought too is expand those over and make the bar longer, but we'll see. This will give me pinpoint accuracy. I'll be able to go right over the fire, low and fast, and hit it. And so let's do a little paint while we're here. So. All right, nice. And so let's go. Now I'll change the tail number up at some point, but for now, I'm just gonna fill it in because we need to test this as well. So, and then cap air that can just come right out. But this makes it nice that I can just use something I've already built and kind of start with it this way. The only annoying thing is this tends to be when I get into issues where, I'll do a ton of modifications of the turboprop, and then this version is done, and it kind of screws me up. But makes it look a little bit different here, and we're rocking and rolling. Oh, it's that. See, that's, again, why I don't like using that. Let's see. There we go. All right, so that's set up. Those are in there. We're going to need piping and everything else. I'll get that done in a moment here. And so you'd want to fill away from the turboprop. They often leave them spinning on some of these filling operations, so I keep that in mind. And so let's see, where do I want to put a filler here? Probably right there. I'm trying to make it easy. I have symmetry on. Let's take symmetry off. All right, and that will be my filler. Okay, and then I want pipe to go there. Now let me charge my system and fill it up. All right, then I want to take that. All right, so that'll be where these fill, and it looks like a retrofit. It looks like you took a passenger plane and you jammed some tanks in there, and that's what I want. I want it to look like a retrofit. That'll be a considerable amount of water. Let's go ahead and let's change all the tanks up, make sure the water's. And then I need to put pumps in there. All right, nice. All right, and so let's see, what else do we need to do here? I need some sort of pump here. So using the large pump really doesn't give us any advantage, so I'm just going to do a regular size pump, regular one. And the way I have the system set up, I don't have to worry about flowing one way or the other. It's going to flow just the way it needs to. Okay, electricity can come straight to the master right there, and then I just need to find a place for a gauge, for a flip switch in here to run it. Probably do it off of trying to think, it'll probably be off right off this panel here. So let's find where this panel connects. Okay. And what panel is this? That is the heater panel. Let's try to grab the heater panel. Hopefully there's a space in there. It may not be. There isn't really. All right, so this just needs to be moved. That's not the end of the world. Actually, you know what? It's just an on-off. Let me see. I want to make a separate panel for it. So let me see if I have a place I can jam a panel. See, one thought was to make kind of a garish panel that you can tell was a retrofit panel. That was a thought as well. Just kind of put like, you know, an orange panel somewhere. The other thought is this. Cut this. Put that over one. And do that. Expand this side. Make it a little asymmetrical. Like that. And then have that be the fire panel. And so it'd sit in front of the FO where they can operate it. So I think that's what I'll do. So let's go ahead and do... I like having retrofits, you know, aircraft that are set up for that way. Let's do water level. Do a gauge. Where are you at there? Gauge, 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 gauge. Vertical 0 to, it's gonna put, it's gonna be gallons, but I'll put, I'll probably do pounds, water level in pounds, because that's what's important to the airplane. You know how much weight you're dumping off. That's important. Vertical gauge, 2,000 pounds, probably more than that. Let's see. And let's do dump water, arrow button down, toggle 2. Okay, and then so I was thinking of a couple indicators on there maybe. Trying to think of like maybe a low water under the gauge. Low water indicator. Low water indicator like that. That'll be 3. And then what do I want to do for this? I could just put another indicator for dumping. I can't think of anything else I really want. I could put pressure in there. Could put pump on. Let's do that. Let's actually, I don't really need a low water. Let's do 3 as Water pressure. Water pressure. Okay, that's going to be a gauge. Not a gauge. I want a dial on that one. Dial 0 to 100, and then we'll do a water. Let's do this too as water pump. Water pump. Arrow button will now be a flip switch. And then this one will be dump water. This will be an arrow button. This will go down. So it would be nice if they had set this up so that you could, if the fires would actually work properly, but they don't. And so instead of complaining about it, let's just work with what we got. I complain all day about things they do, but you know what? I'd rather play the game and have fun. So let's do that instead. So I need to fill this out. So what do we got there? Probably it's going to be a reasonably large panel here. Let's go composite input, water, bomber panel, composite output. All right. So that and that, this will be pump on, or pump, just to put pump. And then, what do I need? I'm going to need to add all of those together. Trying to think if I can just, I'm going to cheat it. I'm going to add 1 in, so it'll be number input. Yeah, that's good. Water tank. And so that's just going to read 1 water tank, and I'll multiply them. It won't be 100% accurate, but it'll be pretty close. That'll just save me a lot of work. And then let me check what the nozzles are. So I'm going to want to set a nozzle that sprays the way I want it. And so let's see, what do these read out as? These have numbers, spray angle. So one thought I had was putting 2 of the nozzles sideways. That's a thought. Let's try that. Let me say, going straight back. So if I change that number, I can get them to spray differently. And so I'll probably put a throttle in here that you can preset them. So let's do this. So go electricity there, there, and then set this one out to here, and this will set the nozzle angles. So we can preset them. We won't change them as we're flying. Go in the back and change them if you want. Let's see. Could put them on the seat to then move this. That's a thought as well. That's all hooked up. All right, so let's see. This is pump. Theoretically, if I can connect the freaking thing. Pump. What are you? You are input blank. You're water tank. So I'm just going to grab one of the water tanks here. And let's see what else we need here. I need to grab this. Come on. It's going to take me twice long if everything I grab I have to grab twice. All right, so let's see. So I have spray angle in there. I have... All right, so I have spray angle. I have turn it on. The pump, it's going to pump it on. And then anything else in there? So that's just that. Nozzles. I was thinking of putting a camera because I have the ability to have a camera there. Thinking of what would be utilitarian to have a camera. Like I was thinking right here maybe. Put a camera here maybe, and then either that or I could kind of jerry a camera right there. So I can kind of see the water bombing area, but we'll figure that out later. I just want to kind of test this here, and so let's hook everything up. Okay. Yeah, so let's look at it here. So, tank, pump, bomber panel, bomber panel. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna want to write water. So what do you have? I need to count my tanks here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 tanks. Okay. Next times 10. So that's just gonna give me 10. It's just gonna average them. It's not. It doesn't need to be perfect. I don't need to read them all. I don't need an exact number. I just need some sort of notion. This input here was water pressure, so I need to put a water pressure sensor in there. I could do it pre-pump. Could be something I could do. That would be fine. Doesn't need to be perfect again. I just need to know that I'm pumping pressure. Let's see. Number input water pressure. Okay. So pump is 2. So that's panel 2. That turns on the pump. Okay, so I don't need dump. If we remember, I set that up. I thought that I could open and close the nozzles, but the pump is working as that. So what I want to do is I'm going to change my nozzle to here. So let's go. Let's go water level. So I don't really need the pressure. Let's do. Let's see. Nozzle angle. It's going to be an arrow button to the left. That's going to be a push, 3, and then this is going to be nozzle angle. Okay, that's going to be to the right. Very nice, and that will be a push. So that will let me change it from here, and so let me get rid of this. See. Okay, that's good. So I'll be able to change the water angle from there. And then I don't want any color on the buttons, so I'm just going to black those out. And then this one here will be, I'm trying to think if I want to differentiate that. Probably not. Let's keep that the same. So I'll read off water there. I do want to change it just because that's something different. That's ITT. All right, so that's in there now. So we can change the nozzle angle from there. This is going to be, dump is going to be 2. Water dump is 2. All right, so I'll turn on the water dump there. And then that will change the nozzle angle. Okay, good. So that's kind of set up the way I want it now. All right, so this instead, water pressure is going to be, it's going to be an output nozzle angle. All right, and so let's go ahead and set that up. So 2 is going to be dump. 2 is pump, that's fine. And then this one here is going to be three and 4. So 3 is going to be negative, is going to be down and up like that. And we need an up-down counter. Okay. And that'll do nozzle there. So that'll be good. That'll let me do the nozzle from in the cockpit, and then if I have a camera there, I'll be able to see how it's dumping in the water. It'll give me something dynamic to do in the air instead of sitting there, doing nothing. So that looks pretty good. Let's cozy the panel up here. All right. So that should be set. So let's go ahead and make sure everything's connected where it should now. And so as I increase the flow of the nozzles, they should spray through each other and still increase it. And that'll give me good overlap because especially as I'm flying over, I want good solid hits on where I'm hitting, on where I'm aiming. And then we have space right there. Let's dump this right in the floor here. All right. And let me find where this will sit. Okay. Let me see. So I have to keep coming back. Whereas I'm trying to find where my gap is in my panels here. So I actually could go sideways with it. What is it hitting now? It's still up one too far. There we go. Now it's in the floor. Let's try to figure out where I am here. I need to be careful of not hitting stuff that I don't want to. All right, so let's see. That's can it go here without being a pain? I can just stick it somewhere else too, but trying to cut a space here where it can go. All right, let me just grab this panel and get it out of here. Being a pain, so it's just I have plenty of space in the back here. I can just come back here. There's no problem. All right, so one thing I have to worry about is center of gravity. So I need to check with all these tanks. I still haven't put this and had this sit. You know, it should be pretty good. I have two tanks behind center of gravity, one right in the middle, and two here. You know, in real life, that's probably too much water for a plane this size, but in game, we're probably all right. So let's see. Double check, make sure that's hooked up correctly here. That's good, that's good, that's good. Two composites are good. Okay, let's go ahead and jump in. All right, so it sits fine. Paint scheme looks good. Ha, jump in there, sucker. Looks good in here. I can kind of homunculus on top. Make sure I can physically get out there and fill it. So like what they do is if they're in a rush and they're water bombing, from what I've seen on videos, you know, they'll shut down one engine, or they might even leave them two running. And somebody will run up here, plug it in, get pumping, and then, you know, they'll leave the other one running. They'll refuel it at the same time, and then they're in business. So let's go ahead and let's do some in tests here. So let's go master power battery A. Let's go ahead and so we have 7 liters. So that's gonna be about double. That's 14,000 pounds of water in there. Let's go ahead and dump it. Okay. And let's change the angle here. So I wonder what my pressure looks like here. So let's let me see, is it still dropping? Let's clean up the weather here. And let's go for a flight. Okay. So we'll go ahead and we'll get started here. Battery A is on. All right, to start. That going. Beacon's coming on. Alright, that's all set. Let's go ahead. We'll go down a notch of flaps. Go ahead, we'll drop the brake. Alright, we'll taxi up. Alright, good. So this should be nice for give this vehicle something else to do as well. Alright, and so let me see. I'm gonna just check. I'm gonna kill the wind for now. I just want to kind of, because I want to see where the water's going. So this will let me kind of see. Let me do this as well. So I'll just kind of test it. I was gonna go put out the firebug and test it, but it's gonna take off to the left here. But I have to climb up over that silly mountain they put in front. And this one way, the mountain is shorter. They put a mountain on both sides of this airport. Alright, so no flight characteristics issues. Gears coming up, flaps are coming up. Turn some lights on here. Alright, so we are going. Let's go ahead and do a dump here. Alright, nice. So that's streaming nicely. Let's go ahead and change the... Alright, let me shut it off a second. So let me change the... I just want to put some stuff in here. Let's go... 600 feet. What's our current heading? 322. Okay. And let's do altitude hold, heading hold. Autopilot's on. Now let's dump it and let me change the angle as I'm going. So, is it doing anything? It doesn't look like it's changing the angle. That's really fine. Let's go the other way. That doesn't look like it's doing anything. So I need to check that and see why the nozzle's not changing. So could just be my rate is way too slow. So that right there is a nice, very compact spray pattern, and then I want a more wide pattern as well. So I need to check that. All right, let's pull this back on the workbench. Find where I am. Oh, I don't have that on right now, so I'm not in my test world. I'm in the actual career build series world. So, but this will be cool. Start fire. I'm gonna go put it out. So, let's check the nozzles here. All right, so we have our nozzles here. Let's go. Make sure the electricity is connected. There and that. Okay, that's all good. Let's check here. That's set to nozzle angle. All right, those should be 3 and 4. Let me double check that. 3 and 4. Okay, so 3 is decrease, 4 is increase. All right, 3 is decrease, 4 is increase. This value could just be too small. Usually that's generally what I do, and it's only going to 1, so let's increase that by 10 times, and let's give it a run. Could be, you know, because how fast I'm traveling, that it, you know, that it's straightening the path out, but we'll see. All right, so right now let's read so they're at 0 spray angle, okay? So they're getting plenty, you know, they're getting plenty of water pressure. That's not an issue. That was something I initially was worried about. Let's go ahead and go master and battery. Let's go ahead and push this all the way out to 1 and make sure that's changing the number. So they start at 0. Let's see if they change. They did. Okay, so let's go. So now they're all the way at 1. So that was probably, the rate was probably fine. It probably just doesn't change much. So you have to consider putting a sprayer bar on there, which isn't a big deal. Let's go ahead and fire them up, and I'll send out Firebug to go set a fire, and we can at least put it out a little bit. Low fuel, huh? Okay, we have no fuel. All right. Let's go ahead and save this. Yeah, let's go in the test world. That's just gonna be easier. I can work that. Originally, I was, you know, I don't know why I came in this world, but I did. Let's go to this test world. Make it a little bit easier for me to play with it. So this would be the type you have to go back to an airport, fill up from a water source. You know, we can just also pull it back to the workbench and then respawn it. That will give us full water. Okay, so let's go somewhere where there's forest. I'm going to launch the Firebug first to go start a fire. Here, let's go back to O'Neill. Okay. All right, so let's go here to O'Neill. So if you watch that that live stream where I built the Firebug, it's just an automated. It used the helicopter from my coaxial tutorial, and so it automates it. It comes back home, which is nice, and it lets me just you know, start a fire for missions. All right, so I'm going to put in where I want this fire to start. So there's plenty of forest right here. All right, and let's go ahead, and that has some good, interesting terrain as well. Autopilot, or altitude hold, heading bearing, Station keeping. Okay, and then I need to start this. 146. And I need to get out of there before it chops my head off. I don't think I was increasing the RPS on the other one before. Alright, so it's all set to go. It should... Oh, there it goes. It should fly over there to the waypoint. It will dump flares, which will set a fire. And then it will come back and it'll land here. So let's get... I want to get that far enough away. It will map of Earthfly, so it'll stay at this height the whole way. It's a little jittery because it's essentially taken all of Katydid's autopilot systems and putting it in there, so it's built for a different type of helicopter. So, okay, let's launch this. All right, and I'm gonna increase the nozzle width again, and we'll go to full nozzle width. We saw what a setting of 1 did. Let's go to a different setting here. And so that's going as well. All right, that's good. Get going here. So I'm trying to beat Firebug back before Firebug comes and lands right in front of us, and I have to move around it. So let's see, Firebug is still on the way out. So there goes Firebug. It's slow. It's not meant to be a quick little thing. It's the main thing with that. It's automated. So its job is just to automate and go out there and start a fire and then come home, and that will allow me to do what should be innately in the game, but is seemingly broken. So let's go ahead and not rush this too much and forget to put my flaps down. Okay, there we go. All right. Thrust coming set. Thrust set. Pause rig, gears coming up. Flaps are coming up. Let's slow it down here. So there goes Firebug. It's one of the reasons it's that color. So it will go right over those trees and we'll dump some flares, setting a fire. Let's get rid of that waypoint. I don't need to see anymore. Okay. So this is nice. It can go slow. This has good maneuverability. Let's, I'll wait on the water dump, but while I'm here, let's get a pic of the water bomber. You'll probably get a bunch here as I actually put out fires, but let's go ahead and we'll check on Firebug here. And Firebug has a stay active block on it, so I should be able to get as far away from it as I want and have it set fires. It has not made it yet. Hopefully it's behaving itself and it's operating. Where is it? There it is, right there. There's up. You know what it was? I turned the RPS value up on the engines and I tested it without doing that. So that was just a silly mistake to not do that. So it's you know, it had a freak out, which it wasn't freaking out when I was building it yesterday because I didn't bother increasing the RPS because it was working, and for some reason I decided to make a change. So the system is tuned for, again, Katydid, and it's not tuned for, you know, my chicanery. Where are you at, Firebug? There it is, right there. Okay, so it's almost over the site. I got a pic here in a second too. Okay, there we go. There's Firebug and the firefighting plane here. Get a little bit more skyline there. Alright, so testing the maneuverability of this. This should be... Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, so see it dumped the flares. So Firebug should head back to its starting position here. So the only issue that has, if it goes over water, it will read all the way to the ground. So that should start a fire. I don't know if Firebug just crashed. Up there it is. It's all right. It's just all right. So I'm gonna go ahead, go full sprayer angle on that. I think I already did, but I'll save it for the fire when the fire starts. Let the fire get going before I hammer it. But this will be nice to get this tested out and put out some fires. So like I was saying, I might put a sprayer bar in there to extend the nozzle width, but this it's kind of nice to be accurate too. You know, if I put it all out one go too, that's miserable. Plus, it's putting more water on one area. So there's about, I could go a little slower, but I don't want to crash in a fire bug either. Okay, see all the fires? We do have fires. So fires are coming. Somebody said infrared flares might start fires. I have to look. So there's firebug, hopefully going home. Again, when I change the RPS on that, it screwed it up a little bit. So let's go ahead and I want to get on a nice long run here and then try to, so that should be 100% or a 1 value on the nozzle width. So I don't know why I'm in third person, but let's get lined up on this fire. Crank it back in. All right. So going on a nice long run like this gets me set up for a little bit more accuracy here. All right, so see we're right dead on the middle of the fire. Nice, so we have a good fire there. It's working well. The system's working nicely. Big fire there, nice. Let's go ahead and turn on water. And see, the flares are an issue. I need to try the infrared flares because it's just like I can't do anything with this light bloom on there. But let's check. So it's doing the wiggle waggle of the nozzles at 100% at 1. I just probably want to spread them out more, but it's giving me a really good concentrated flow, so I have to be very careful here that I don't crash. So that put water right in the middle. Okay. You know, Bambi Bucket's still going to be the most, probably the most effective because you will sit on top of it. But this is going to be able to bomb the water on there. And the rate at which this dumps water, I can kind of be a little bit generous with how much water when I start it. Like right there. So water's hitting. I don't know how likely it is I can put it out like this without dumping more water on it. You know, like you see, my water value is going down very slowly. I might have to add a lot more nozzles to get more water flow on there. I have to I might talk to some of the SRS guys who do this a lot and kind of have done some testing on it. So it's hitting. It put out some fire, it looked like, on that run. So let's keep hitting it, see if we can't put it out. See, so part of this testing is see what the efficacy of this is. Can I make this work? Is this going to be worthwhile? So as you can see, I've got my thrust set nicely, so even when I bank. So I'm using opposite rudder to help my banks like you would in real life. Okay, so nice. The flares are all out too, so let's get some water bumping on this. Come on, click it. Ding dong. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, it was annoying me because I didn't want to miss the run. So you see about where it's falling behind me. So that's one thing I was thinking with the camera is, the other thing I could do is I'm getting a temperature warning. I hate automating everything though. People love automating everything and I really don't. And so one thought I had was to automate the drop, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't like automating everything. It's not my style. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to split the fire. I'm going to try to keep hitting the middle and see if I can split it. That'll tell me if I'm able to cut the two fire bands apart from one another. That tells me it's working. So this is good. If I keep about the speed, even with like extreme bank and a little bit of a climb, it's not just decelerating me too much. So, and you see, I barely dropped any water level, so I can keep the water on for a much longer time. I'm gonna try to get another picture here. There we go. That's a good picture. I'm gonna actually try to get where I can see here. Come on, come on, come on! I'm pressing the goddamn S key. That sucks, dude. I was holding the S key and it still screwed me. All right, so where's Firebug? Firebug crashed somewhere. So I think Firebug's issue was, like I said, the I screwed with its RPS for some reason. I am here. Yes, I know where I am. Where's Firebug? Firebug's over there. Firebug's having a problem. I increased Firebug's RPS, which was probably pretty silly. Just is making it misbehave. So, all right. So let's go ahead and we have a fire going. Let's get back on the workbench. Time's paused as we're in the workbench anyway. And let's make a proper fire bar here, or spray bar here. And I'm thinking I might do this color for it. Give me the color. All right, thank you. And let's get some symmetry on. So I'm going to increase the number of these nozzles, and I don't need them this close. I don't know. That's not a bad spray volume there. That's one gap still. Let's do... Okay. So we'll put one gaps in between them here. And I'll put a little bit of a sprayer bar on here. That will help me extend this out. Get a little bit of a bigger swath. And there I go. I'll go one more set. Might be a little bit long, but you know, we want this functional. We want it to actually work for us, so let's try that. Again, I want this to work. I want some efficacy in this, so put a reasonable fireball bar on here. If I could spell, that would be even better. All right, so there is a bigger spray bar. All right. And so let's see if I can feed this a little bit better. Might be overkill, but so that's one of the reasons why I was like, initially I didn't want to do overkill, and then I'm kind of like, you know what, do overkill. And then if it's too much, you know to bring it back, and then you don't have to rebuild it 8 times. You'd be like, okay, that's too much. Cut it back a little bit, you know. Okay, go there. All right, so that's the new setup. Let's go ahead and spawn that. I don't hate the look of it. It looks fine. You know, it's supposed to kind of look that way. It's what is this? Is what I want to know though. Something I accidentally left there. Let's see. Beacon, come on. Yeah, I was holding the S key when I came out of photo mode, and it crashed me. It was kind of annoying. So this says this turboprop, even at full, low RPS propeller, is still pretty efficient. So I don't have to worry about it too much. So I wonder why So I think Firebug is freaking out here all because of, I changed the RPS on there. I increased it, and that was the first time I did that. I was like, oh, I'll see if it gets out there faster. It's freaking out the gyro. The gyro's set up for katydid, which is not coaxial. It's a whole different setup. It's a bigger aircraft, different values, so. Alright, so we should get a better spray pattern on this. I'm going to increase that all the way. Let's go ahead and flaps up. Should have a pretty good roaring fire going there. We do. Alright, let's see if we can't put that out. Alright, so I'm going to slow us down here. So one thing you do in this is you don't want your propeller pitch to be You don't want to pull them back. You don't want to increase your propeller pitch. You want to keep low pitch, high RPM. That makes it much easier for me to change the RPS of the engine. That's what you'd want in real life. Is you want to be able to have dynamic control over your engines. You don't want to, because you want to be able to change speed quickly. You know, you start getting into a problem, you want to be able to change your speed. Okay, so here we go. That's a better swath. It's putting fire out. Nice. Okay. So definitely putting fire out. I just have to be quick about it. So like I'm kicking rudder and doing all the tricks I do. I'm doing a chandelle to get back on target really fast. So this will be fun. You know, I like doing the war stuff sometimes, but this is the type of stuff that I'd rather do, you know. I'd much rather be a water bomber than a fighter pilot, you know. Alright, so it's definitely putting out fire. So let's do a chandelle. Kicking the rudder hard, doing a really high bank chandelle, a little power. Don't want to get slow in a chandelle like that. Okay, nice. So this is eating fire. I'm gonna try to start hitting the perimeter of the fire a little bit. So like I'm barely using up any water, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna turn my pump on. I missed the fire altogether in that run. I was rushing and screwed it up. Let's do a chandelle again, left chandelle. And I'm making them to the left because that's the side I'm sitting on. Adding a little bit of power just so I don't get too slow. Cutting the power off. So I'm doing a lot of work here as I'm moving. So I'm going to try to hit the perimeter of the fire where it's continuing to spread. I'm trying to stop the spread here is essentially what I'm trying to do. Okay. Whoa, pay attention there, guy. Could put this on the seat, but I don't want to. That's not me. You know. Plus, I want to potentially bring somebody in to help me with this, and so give them a job to do. All right, so I'm going to take the speed down a little bit. Coming in fast, so. And so I can even do it with myself there, and nice. That put out a lot of fire there. So I'm going to hit the perimeters. I'm going to come do a right chandelle here. And I'm going to try to hit the perimeters, see if I can't put this out. Yeah, so we're barely using any water. We've used about 2,000 liters maybe. Maybe probably less than that, maybe 1,200, about 1,200 I'm thinking here. So I can even turn my water on earlier, which is something I was wondering. So I hit this edge right here. So my accuracy is pretty good. I can hit the edges like that one. I just cut it too much, but it's definitely putting fire out. You can see it's doing that. Do a big left chandelle here. The other thing is I need to extend a little bit. I'm cutting it in tight, so I don't have time to line up. So I'm rushing, which is not helping me. It's hurting me. All right, nice. But this is definitely working, and so that's good to have another tool in the tool chest, something else to do. There's plenty to do in this game. You just have to have some imagination, too. I think a lot of people who struggle to find things to do, you know, it's an engineering game. You know, you're building things. Build something, you know? And, you know, one thing we can't do with firefighting that you can do IRL is you're essentially dumping water on ahead of the fire so that it can't start burning the new stuff. Can't really do that. I have to put out our pre-existing fire here. So even with that as a button that I have to hit, I can still control it really well. So this one I'm going to get like the two sides of it. Okay, good. Coming around. So definitely the Bambi bucket would probably be more efficient because I can sit with the helicopter right on top of it. But then it's not fast, so I have to, you know, I definitely can't hold as much water, and I move pretty slow, but I can go suck up water out of that lake over there. So I already have a couple vehicles I can do this with, so that's nice. This should be a nice hit. I should be able to get a good bunch of the fire on this one. There we go. All right, so I've segregated the fire. You notice that little section I cut off. So now I'm going to attack that cutoff section, and then try to get that. I watch my speed. Doing a pretty good job of not getting too slow. I have plenty of power in this in reserve. You see where my thrust setting's at. All right, so I cut off that left side, so I'm kind of doing a longer run here. I really want to line up and try to cut out that left segment of the fire. Get nice and low and hit it. Alright, so that is completely split from the other fire. And this is barely... actually, what's it doing? I didn't index that gauge, so that's why it looks like I haven't used much water. I did use a good bit of water, but it's not bad. I kind of want to make this so I have to fight it for a while. The other thing, too, is if I can cut the section of the fire, you know, it will run out of fuel to burn, and I'll eventually be able to put it out no matter what. But, alright, so we have that cutoff section here. I'm going to line up for that. Try to concentrate on this section right here that I've cut off from the other section of fire. And we get right on top of it. And so if I have somebody helping me here, it will be nice because they can control the... That's a good hit. That's a really good hit. I might be able to put all that out, or most of it. Alright, good. Yeah, so because I didn't index that gauge to where it's at, it was sitting at the top the whole time. Well, it's still sitting at the top because it's set to, I think it was like 1,000. We only... Or... Did I shut that off? I did. Alright, good. But, yeah, we'll need to do some fill-ups, which is what I want. But, you know, the goal here would be to kind of cut a hole in the fire and keep it segregated one side or the other. But, you know, this is going to be fun, I think, getting this, you know, working on this. And as I become more accurate with this, I can hopefully put them out a little bit more efficiently. So I'm going to go out further. I've been cutting in too much, and I can't line up as well as I want, so... Kind of cutting out, taking my time setting up here. And then once we run out of water, we'll head back in. Alright, so like see now I have more time to set up, so I really want to do the longest stretch I can, give me the greatest opportunity to put out the most fire, so like right there probably. Come in, get right on the money, and then hit it. Nice. Alright, so this is working pretty well. I do not have enough power in here to be doing a loop. I was going to loop it. Alright, let's go ahead and land. So this will be fun, I think. This will allow me to start some fires. You know, one of the reasons I booted up the regular save was the... You can see there, we're down to low on water. One of the reasons I booted up this save was, or the other save, was to see if it would pop it up as a mission. But, you know, this will be fun, nonetheless, to be able to do some firework here. Alright, so let's go ahead and get ready for landing. So, again, this is, you know, these types of aircraft, you don't want to cut in, you don't want to cheat. You know, that's too tight. That's too tight. You know, I want to get all the way out here. That's how I want to get in on this. So I can see the runway there. Still too tight. Let's go ahead and gears down. Flaps 1 notch. Flaps 2. The nice thing is my flaps come in progressively. They come in slowly, as you can see, so I can put them where I want them, and they'll still come in a manageable setting. I do need to add power, though. I've set that up so that's realistic. My flaps drag like they should in real life. You know, you get a lot of people, they comment about how terrible the flight mechanics are in Stormworks, and they've never flown a plane before. They have no background in aviation, and you know, and so of course they're not going to build something that flies like a real plane. And even if they did, they don't know what a real plane flies like. And so those of us who have flown, you know, you can build some pretty realistic stuff. Like I have my flaps, they both come down, and I have anti-flaps, which give me that deck angle change. It also gives me drag, so that allows it to behave like real flaps. You know, it balloons properly, it gives me extra lift, but it also is giving me drag. It's behaving well, so this stupid mountain in the way is really obnoxious. It's like one of the Caribbean islands that I have to land, which I don't mind, you know, but it's like Draymore would be great for that. Oh, what the hell happened? Oh, did I hit the pumps? I bet yeah, I hit the nozzles. Or the gear definitely collapsed. I didn't hit hard. Okay, weird. So I wonder if I hit all those nozzles, so they might not be able to go there. Okay, let's recall this. That was concerning me for a little while there. Is that going to be too close to the ground because see yeah, it's definitely too close to the ground. See, we're rotating here and then we're gonna hit that. So I need to move those. Let's we're getting on time here, but let me do that. Shouldn't take long. So let me see how I want to do this. The one thought I had was to set the sprayers. I could put the sprayers on the side, which would be interesting. So, because my floor is mostly covered, I have to be careful of that. So let's see. I could also set them up under the wings. Trying to think the best way to do this. Anyways, let's save this, and I'll kind of think of that on my own, but Firebug's working well at setting fires, as one could see. This was putting out fires. Part of it's my methodology of how I'm hitting them. I think that's too many nozzles. I don't think I'm actually helping putting out fire with all those extra nozzles. And as you see, it's likely where they are, they're going to be hitting the ground and causing ruckus. So those should move. If these were to move ahead here or even under the wings, that would be a little bit better. So I'll figure something out. Like I might put them in there and have them flow down under the wings. But have a different sprayer bar. But thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoy that, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye.